Hello everyone and welcome to the Fans Dugout live session by World Cricket Fans. India have won the Boxing Day test. So just want to quickly introduce our fans today. We've got Ishwinder Singh, Mr. Gurnam Singh, Zoran, Ori. So the fans are joining from different parts of the world today, and just to celebrate India's victory and sort of, gave us an update on the series scoreline. It's 1-1 right now. Australia won the Adelaide Test match. It was a very a different sort of game because for India, 36 all out is something no one would have imagined. So let's quickly start off with the fans, starting off with Mr. Gurnam Singh. What are your thoughts on the comeback of India?
No, I think first of all, it's a great win for Team India without Mohammad Shami, without leadership of Kohli. And since I think the day one, India is actually on the field to win this game. How they have performed, especially the bowling, and then again after that, the batting performance, fielding performance, and overall, I think is a good team spirits they have shown up. And coming from here, won all series. This is actually good for fans, especially like us, who's actually in Sydney, who missed the most of the game as well. So I think it's a great win and the century. And the one thing I want to mention that Ajinkya Rahane was he scored a century, and the last score he also scored. So he must be very happy, showing the leadership. And of course, people not happy, especially Zoran, as I can see his face. But this is a very good comeback after 36 all out.
All right, absolutely. Over to you, Zoran. What are your thoughts on Australia's performance in the Boxing Day test? Were you happy with their decision of choosing to bat first? Because the pitch has been absolutely brilliant, even on day 4 and day 5. So what are your thoughts on, the decision of Australia batting first and on their performance as well?
Yeah, well, firstly, I think congrats to India. They deserve to win. They played like a team that kind of wanted to win from day one, like Gurnam mentioned. And I don't think there really was an issue with the toss, really, because batting first on day one, Boxing Day test match, traditionally we've seen Australia putting up a big target and a score. One would imagine with, David Warner not kind of being in the side and Joe Burns and, Matthew Wade coming together to open the batting, there would have been some sort of an opening partnership, which wasn't sort of assured because they've kind of faltered at the very top. And that's fine because Australia for quite some time has looked for someone to kind of open with David Warner. So we're hoping that David Warner is fit for the third test, wherever it may be, Sydney, Melbourne, we don't know. But I was expecting more from Steve Smith. I don't know, some strange slump he's got into of not scoring more than 10 runs. And he's used to scoring double hundreds and centuries and stuff. And you know how Steve Smith is when he kind of, digs in. But I think on the whole, the only thing that I can fault is Australia's very, very poor fielding. I think they dropped way too many catches for their liking, and that's very uncharacteristic of them. I think it's very strange because Australia never is known. I mean, they're known for their fielding. They're known for their lethal bowling. And of course, fielding is always top notch. So I think that was a big disappointment. And that really, really set the tone for India from the very start. Ajinkya Rahane was dropped 3 times. Shubman Gill was dropped 4 times. Even right now, towards the end of the, winning runs, Stark dropped Rahane. Not like it mattered towards the end, but that just kind of defined the whole kind of tone in the Australian camp. So I think that was very disappointing. They didn't live up to their potential. I don't think there was anything wrong in, with the bowlers. They've been really exceptional from the first test as well, when India was 36 all out. And that showcased that Australia has been carried through by their bowlers. But I expected more from their batsmen, especially Steve Smith. Tim Payne shown some character, but there was no one really like helping him there. So I'm hoping they really work hard from coming into the next test match. But I mean, not taking nothing away from India, they really deserve this and they played brilliantly. And Rahane, really, really happy for him because he's been waiting to kind of take this role up in the Indian side and he never has had test captaincy. So I think being a captain and scoring a century will mean a lot to the team. But Australia has some work to do.
Right. So the Indian fans will be extremely happy looking at the current form of Steve Smith. Definitely, so many low scores right now, single-digit scores. Not very often you see that. But over to Ori. What are your thoughts on the debutant starting off with Shubman Gill? I think in replacing Prithvi Shaw, who's not in great touch right now, but Shubman Gill looked absolutely confident. Not someone who usually makes his debut. His situation is, approach at the start facing the likes of Mitchell Starc and Pat Cummins.
Shubman Gill and Mohammad Siraj also, both of them played the first match for India. About Shubman Gill, he has been a superstar in the making. Most of us, we have known that he's an SB superstar in Indian cricket. He was the player of the tournament in the 2019 World Cup also, under 19 World Cup. So, and he has done very well in first class cricket also. And the criteria for selection in the test team should not be the IPL, but your performances in the first class matches. And he has done extremely well, scoring triple hundreds in Ranji Trophy matches, having an average of close to 70 in first class cricket. And India have pulled off a coup by including him in this squad and actually playing him. The fear was that you would continue to back Prithvi Shaw, which is well and good. I mean, you should back your players, but then not at the expense of keeping out a talent like Gill. The fear was that I was worried about that, but thankfully better senses prevailed, and Rahane, he has a good head on his shoulders. He knows which players to back and which changes to make. So yeah, I'm very happy with the performance of Gill. I hope he leaves more balls outside the off stump. He doesn't have to play shots every ball. I mean, that is something that he should work on. And
Yeah.
and if I talk about Mohammad Siraj, who would have expected? Stepping in for Shami, and my God, what a baller! I mean, see, we judge these players based on IPL. Yeah, I mean, you see Mohammad Siraj bowling in the IPL, you would not think that he's capable of such things. But the stamina, the pace, the accuracy. I mean, he's cut out for red ball cricket. You can see that. And again, I will tell you this: he has around 160 wickets from 30 odd first class matches. Mohammad Siraj. So, this is the way how selection should be done. Picking players for test matches based on first class records. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah, it makes sense because amazing debut again for someone like Mohammad Siraj. Obviously, he's going through
Yes.
a tough time right now, it's a tragedy.
Yes.
But coming back and in a situation like that and performing with all his heart, so that just credit and kudos to Mohammad Siraj.
And
Over to
one small thing, if I can add. See, this is the new India. People are coming up from very small places. Mohammad Siraj comes from such a humble background. Such a humble background. His father passed away a few days back. Imagine the joy that family has when it sees
Yeah.
their boy perform like this. Even for that matter, Shubman Gill. He comes from a very small village. The family actually shifted close to Patiala so that he can practice at the Patiala stadium. So very well done to the families also. Very well done. Lots of sacrifices.
Interesting you mentioned that because in between the game, they showed a graphic where the playing 11 of the Indian team, every single player coming from a different state. So
Yes.
people, players from Maharashtra, Karnataka, every single player. So that's amazing to see the diversity in the Indian team right now. And over to you, Ishwendra. What are your thoughts on Mohammad Siraj as a bowler starting off, and Jasprit Bumrah leading this attack? Because in absence of guys like Ishant Sharma and Mohammad Shami, and those are big guns. So, in absence of such players, how well is Bumrah leading this pace attack?
Yeah, definitely it was a top, brilliant performance by the whole Indian cricket team, especially the dream debut for Shubman Gill and Mohammad Siraj. He was teaming in the first innings, took the crucial 2 wickets in the first innings, and in the second innings he bowled brilliantly in the absence of Umesh Yadav. When Umesh Yadav got injured, Rahane brings in Mohammad Siraj for the bowling. He showed the character and how he can bowl in the tough situations, taking the big wickets of Australian batting lineup. I think it was a brilliant bowling performance by India, especially after coming back from a big defeat of Adelaide. Indian bowlers again showed up what they are capable of. Uh, Team India's batting let us down in the Adelaide. Bowling was top in Adelaide as well. So I think Jasprit Bumrah leading the pace battery really well, and Mohammad Siraj backing up. We might see Navdeep Saini coming in third test match in place of Umesh Yadav if he's not fit. So it will be again a big task on the shoulders of Jasprit Bumrah to lead the pace bowling attack.
That's right. So moving on to Mr. Gurnam, we have seen some up and down in terms of the opening of the Indian batting order right now. But do you see Rohit Sharma making a comeback right now? in the squad and replacing someone like Mayank Agarwal, or do you think we should keep the same team and make no more changes?
See, India from past few years, they actually struggling for opening partnership. And every game, every match, even the one-day test or T20 is always depend on opening partnership, how they are actually building the partnership that the following batsman can score some run. So opening partnership is actually a big task where I think I say Shubman Gill have proved himself a young test debut, young player who don't know about much wicket this जितनी भी bounce wicket है कुछ इतना पता नहीं है but he have playing very confidently, he just see sometimes, you winning team is always have that confidence, like they are here to win, and the confidence I see in Shubman Gill, that is definitely he's going to be one of the key batsmen, especially for opening. But don't forget that Mayank Agarwal last year when India was there, he have scored a top knock in MCG and followed by SCG. So I think there is a crucial form. I think people, especially the top order batsmen, especially like Mayank Agarwal, if you go on Australian side, where in 4 match, Stephen Smith didn't even score. So you can't deny that 4 game or 3 game that someone is not fit for the team, fit for the next matches. But however, if we always have a choice whom we want to make them as a comeback, as an opening batsman, or whom we can fit someone else, so that is the team management can decide. But again, we need to also acknowledge the performance of Ravindra Jadeja. He have actually batted really well, bowled really well, and of course his fielding is always up to the mark. So overall, it might be changes. I'm not sure who is going to be replaced Rohit Sharma, but definitely Rohit Sharma will be in the team. And if I see whoever they might have a choice to replacing Rohit Sharma with Mayank Agarwal, and in the Sydney Test or wherever the next test will be happening.
Okay.
Or maybe Hanuma in place of Hanuma Vihari.
Yes,
because we got Jadeja as a backup.
Vihari, I think.
All-rounder.
I think they might replace Vihari
with Rohit Sharma.
Rohit Sharma, because I think still there is a lot of thing that maybe this is a low-scoring game. India is chasing under 70 run, so maybe they're trying to go attack. And one thing Ajinkya Rahane did really good today. He attacked. He playing as an attacking batsman rather than defending, because always when you have a low score, you try to defeat the score. When you lose the wicket, then there is a pressure building up. He's just coming in another, and Shubman Gill is giving really boundaries and quick singles. So that from the start is actually is look like they're gonna win this match, and they just want to finish the game, to be very honest, how quickly as they can, and they can enjoy their beer.
That's right. I think it did remind me of his captaincy in Dharamshala as well. Similar situation, same team, same opponent against Australia. Ajinkya Rahane, Indian team was chasing in the 4th innings, and Ajinkya Rahane started that counter attack. And it was the similar case here at the Boxing Day test at the MCG today as well. But over to you, Zoran. We mentioned that Smith's form has been concerning, but I think the major problem right now for Australia is that no one, not a single batsman scored 50 runs or above in the entire test. And that hasn't happened a lot. And if you see the opening order right now, Joe Burns is not in great form. David Warner would obviously like to make a comeback at this point of time because Australia need him really badly. But overall, how do you see Australia making changes for the next test?
But Australia,
to be very honest,
Australia always come back in a very nice manner, like how they won't take it easily that they have defeat today. And Stephen Smith is a big question, but he will definitely play the next game. And we are so lucky to, always get him out under 10 run. We are so lucky, because if he scored, India have very, very hard to win this game, because if we playing in Sydney, and I just want to, that's my prediction, that it's very hard to get him out in Sydney pitches, and he always scores Sydney every time. And if they play Sydney test, the 3rd one, he will definitely come back, and maybe he will go again another 100. Yes, Zoran, sorry, you were saying something.
No. So I think three things, right? I think one thing is I wouldn't take Steve Smith's bad form into too much consideration, because this man always bounces back. Because when he's not playing cricket, also he's playing cricket in his room, which is very crazy. And I remember the Australian team having a WhatsApp group, and many a times Pat Cummins and Glenn Maxwell say, "Steve, please go to sleep. We have a game tomorrow in the morning," and he just keeps playing shadow cricket. So this guy is a perfectionist in every form. So I think we have a human tendency such, if people do fail in the first couple of games or 3 games. We tend to kind of analyze it a bit more. I think legends always come back. I think the same applies to Virat Kohli also. Similarly, I also want to say that I think David Warner is coming back into the team, and I hope he's fit for the test, would really strengthen the Australian batting lineup. Joe Burns, yeah, I think he's a big gamble. I too feel that is not convincing enough to kind of open in the batting, because apart from that 50 he made in the second innings, but that was a very low total to chase. So, I mean, he had no pressure. Is he good enough for a lineup to kind of come back? I'm not too sure. I would still look at Usman Khwaja, because Khwaja has showcased that strength and the ability to kind of wait it out in the middle. There are a few people waiting in the lineup to come opening, but Australia needs someone to open with Warner. I definitely also think Aaron Finch needs to come back in the Test squad, because Finch has that ability, that stability, and he can really complement Warner's aggressive start to the innings. So that's very, very important and crucial. And yeah, I think Steve Smith in the SCG, if they're playing at the SCG, has a big history. He always tends to score runs at the SCG, and I wouldn't think too much, because just today morning Ricky Ponting was on air, and he said that he had a chat with Steve Smith yesterday after day 3, and Steve Smith mentioned to him that I just want to spend more time in the middle, because if I spend more time in the middle and face more balls, I get the rhythm to score runs. With him, it's just essentially just spending time, because if he really digs it in, which he hasn't been able to in the couple 2 tests, of course, for really good bowling. But yeah, I think I mean, a special also mention to Siraj, because Siraj has been exceptional, a really young fine talent for India, and I think he has many years ahead. And the same goes to Shubman Gill. We saw him perform in the IPL, and like Ori said, IPL shouldn't be a benchmark for seeing talent in the future for India. But I have to say that gave everybody a glimpse of what he can do on the big stage. Of course, Test match is different from T20, but I think today in this Test match, he's really proved himself. I also want to say the hype surrounding Rohit Sharma. Yeah, he is a match winner. Yeah, he's exceptional. Let's hope for Indian fans that he performs, because many times all this hype can really get to you sometimes. And, he may come back and get out of first ball duck also. And, and then people are like, see, this is why he, it's only talk. But so I think what really matters, there can be talk, there can be net press sessions, but at the end of the day, the bat has to do the talking when the game goes on. So
but we have a replacement for Hanuma Vihari to Rohit Sharma, because he hadn't scored. So at least we can actually gamble that side that he was in a quarantine for long, but he's actually having knock balls, and the test he was passed, fitness and all that stuff. So if in Team India is one guy is not performing, so we have a replacement, and I think what a better replacement with Rohit Sharma. I think we should have maybe definitely drop Hanuma Vihari. Rest team will be the same, and I think another test will going to be in India's favor again.
Yeah. So that is actually
I think it's really evened out at this point in time, because it's just one bad performance, and you really can't ride a team down or any certain player down. Both teams are very evenly poised, and I think they both have that fighting spirit. So I think come the next test, wherever it is, I think they'll really be wanting to kind of get that victory.
True. So yeah, it actually makes sense. All the series scoreline right now, and the unpredictability part of the series is what makes this rivalry absolutely interesting. But over to Ori, what do you think? Where do you stand in the Rishabh Pant versus Ridhiman Saha debate? Who do you want to see in the playing 11, and what's the major reason behind it?
See, first of all, Rishabh Pant is a fantastic talent. Okay, and it's unfortunate that his keeping is not up to the mark. But as a batsman, his heads and he's on another level. You can't compare Ridhiman to Rishabh Pant. But Riddhi, he is the best keeper. He has been the best keeper in the country for a while, and that should be your benchmark for selecting your test keeper. Having said that, Ridhiman is 36 years old, and now with this drop, I think his international career is over. I think once these people go back to India, the Indian teams plays the test matches against England, I think you will see a different keeper. I think at 36, 37, Ridhiman Saha is not making a comeback into this Indian team anymore. It's unfortunate, but that's how the cookie crumbles, you know. And Rishabh Pant has to improve his keeping, man. You can't keep dropping catches. You can't keep getting surprised with bounce. You know the spinners are getting bounce. You have to be ready for it. You just can't act surprised every time the ball lands on the seam and bounces that much extra. You know, you
One
have to improve your keeping. Yeah.
One thing I want to add on this one with Rishabh Pant, I think he's a great character as well for the game, and keeper always continuously need to talk to the team, and he always motivate the team. How good you talking behind the stumps? I think you are actually saying, well, ball, this. That exactly the spirit you need, especially in Test cricket, and that is really important for getting the booster for the bowler. And he's just having a clinch. He had a just banter yesterday with Matthew Wade as well.
Yeah, he
So
did. It was
no,
really funny to
You know,
watch.
it's entertaining. I'm sure it's entertaining, but then he
Yeah,
doesn't make much sense though. Nobody
yeah,
listens
he
to him.
doesn't. Yeah,
Yeah,
you know,
he tried he
I
tried to
have to
tell
say,
Ashwin where to.
like talking is very good. You must, but back it up with action also. Take the catches. Don't drop
Yeah,
catches and keep talking.
exactly.
So talking is great,
And
but
and even his own players don't listen to him. He told Ashwin
yeah,
to field,
yeah.
put this field here, and Ashwin was no,
I don't
it's
think
fine,
Ashwin
whatever.
understands what he's talking. Ashwin speaks in a different language. I don't think Ashwin's understanding the language.
no,
Could be,
Ashwin
could
doesn't
be.
understand Hindi, to be
He
honest.
doesn't understand it.
He doesn't understand Hindi.
And Dhoni, did Dhoni ever speak? I think Dhoni is the benchmark for keepers in India and the world. He didn't speak a line.
I
I
think
mean,
Dhoni was in the middle right now because if you see Dhoni did speak a lot, but in terms of strategy and all of that, he spoke, some.
exactly.
See, he's
Uh,
young and he's also a character. You can't compare with anyone with Dhoni or any Sachin Tendulkar or
exactly.
Ganguly. They are young bloods. They actually playing just whatever they born, brought up. And he's from Delhi. So I'm from Delhi. So we are the character. We can make a joke and we can make a fun and we can be friends. That's how you actually born and raised. But one thing I also want to add one thing, Mir, in this platform, because this is a World Cricket fans. And I want to say that like if I'm allowed to say or not, but I just want to say 30-second silence for those who actually criticize Indian cricket team in Adelaide Test match. So could we please have 30 seconds silent on your show?
That's right. We do need that silence, because it's really, it sometimes just unacceptable how easily fans just start criticizing players just because of one game. And this is my belief that it has happened a lot because of the IPL, where people just want quick response, quick changes, just one bad performance. And I think I need to drop 6 players and bring 6 new players again. So that's
We
not
are the
how.
same people who's actually posting about well done team India and all that. So guys, I think we have to support the team you support, like Australia, India, or any cricket team. One team has to win, one team will lose. So this is just a game. How come back you come, that's you are a winner. wo jo jeeta wo sikandar.
Can I just say one more thing about this as well? I hope what Gurnab said was perfectly right. I hope a lot of the Indian fans learn that Australia, having lost this game, the country's not going to give them backlash for losing the game. It's all right. It's not life. It's one game, right? So get over it. Get over it and move on. You lose, you win. It's been a pathetic year for everybody overall for bigger reasons than one cricket game. And I think everyone knows that. It's a pandemic. And I think there is much more to cherish. So I think, it's fine. We'll all get over it. No one's lost its life. I think you have to be able to move on.
But you only, win when you lose. You learn to lose and see how good you're coming back. That exactly, we need to be there. When someone is emotionally, facing for so many things, then you have to stood up. खुशी में तो सारे ही एक दूसरे के साथ हैं. अगर तुम गम में किसी के साथ खड़े हो, तो I think people will appreciate you, and I think that exactly we as a fans we should stand with each other and as a team as well.
So this team will get a lot of support. The last time the lowest score for India was 42. This was in 1971, and the very next Test match against the same opponents, England, India lost by innings and a few runs. But this team, they came back and won the Test match. So people see all this. I mean, Indian team will get a lot of support.
Team is absolutely top notch right now, because the way you come back from a situation like that in an overseas Test match, mind you, in Australia, where the media is right on you, they'll never even give you a chance to make a comeback like this.
Exactly.
But So
But I
that's
think I have to say they do come at you, but if you do play well, they have a lot of respect for you too. And I remember Kohli mentioning this in an interview recently.
Australian media as well. They'll respect you. The one
Yeah.
great thing, and just even if you take an example of Ajinkya Rahane right now,
Yeah.
the way they appreciate even the Australian crowd. I really like that fact about Australia, that the crowd, the media, they'll appreciate it.
Yeah.
That's
I mean, it felt a bit strange because no one's sledging anybody in this game. It looks a bit too friendly now,
No, because
I'm getting a bit worried.
IPL. Because of the
That's
IPL.
one of the.
Yeah, I'm getting a bit worried. Everyone's sweet to the other.
Yeah, because of the IPL, because everyone goes there, have a friend in the same team. But I think people, we people like us, who's actually have a good knowledge about cricket, and we think about the game and the points and everything. We need to change. We need to make a trend to come up and back each other's team up, and also educate the other fans that what is mean for you guys. After the field we are good friends, and when we are on the field we are rivals. So we should learn from Kohli and Aaron Finch as well. They are playing the same team as RCB, Zampa. So leading by example, that this is the platform. I think we should learn from those character.
But if I can say something, the Aussie culture has always been, I mean, they've always, this aggression that they bring in, they follow a lot of American sports and all. So this aggression thing that has come into Australian sports in general and cricket in particular is because of, watching a lot of Yankee sports and all that. That was the culture, 70s, 80s, 90s. So do you think that this is actually affecting them adversely? This being told to, being mellow, told to not indulge in sledging. Do you think this is actually affecting the Australian team?
So I think that over the years, the reason why Australia have been so successful is because of that attitude, is to just never give up, just be in the game all the time. And you don't want to lose as a team. You don't like losing as a team. Sure, other teams also don't like it, but the way they come back and the way they bounce back, they are there to make a statement, which is why they have been so successful over the years.
And I think Sydney will see nothing less than that. I have a feeling that's going to be what Sydney is going to be, whenever the next test match is. And as a matter of fact, if you do see the test on Amazon, which is the documentary of the whole, kind of resurrection of after what the incident happened, if there is one thing that Justin Langer keeps mentioning constantly is discipline and character, behavior, culture, behavior, constantly again and again. And I think it's drilled into their heads and the psyche now to a level. But I think, having said that, just the other day, I think Shane Warne was commentating and he said, there's no need to sledge, but there should be banter. It's very important to have banter. I think, because test match is nothing without banter. I mean, just yesterday when Mitchell Starc got Jadeja out, he showed a couple of faces and I loved it. I'm like, show more, like let him know I'm getting under your skin.
That's what you want. And you never call it sledging in Australia, you call it gamesmanship. So that's what I
it's and I think now India's prepared to take it as well, because you have their number one cheerleader who's aggressive as hell. His name is Virat Kohli. Who's 10 times worse. So
but India has the bowling attack also. If you bounce Indian batters, they can come back and bounce the shit out of you also. That's something that imagine India traveling to Australia with Venkatesh Prasad and Javagal Srinath. Javagal Srinath with half a shoulder and Prasad bowling as quick as Kumble.
No, times have changed. I think credit to Zahir Khan as well, with the initial sort of start that he gave in, tours like England and Australia and South Africa, that it's only got better with time. I think this fearless attitude is great credit to a lot of the leaders in the team, starting with Ganguly.
I think Virat Kohli has inculcated this fast bowling thing in the Indian team. I think he has figured it out. Dhoni wanted the line and length, those kind of bowlers. With Kohli, he wants out and out fast bowlers.
Yeah. One thing I want to add on that 36, that you can't be a true cricket fan if you are criticizing the team at the bad times. You can't be that. If you are extremely happy when your team is performing well, you should have to be happy, but you have to support in the bad times as well.
No,
I appreciate the Australia's performance. They were really lethal on that day in the bowling. Yeah. And
I think what you said makes so much sense.
For the 4 days, I was there on the full Boxing Day Test match for the 4 days. Yesterday, while coming back to home, I met a couple of Aussie fans. They were saying like there is a great bounce back by the Indian team, like from that 36. How they have showed the character, how they can bounce back, facing that Australian lineup again. and without the Virat Kohlis and Shami and likes of Rohit Sharma, how they have came back. Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
right.
I
think
couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more, because I think what you just said right now was, the kind of way to appreciate that is very, very important. I think you got to stick with them. I think, and I think at this time you need it the most when you're overseas. And I think things have just happened, been away from your families, and but people really haven't had the chance to go back home. And like you said as well, Siraj lost his father. So I think towards the end, all these things really add up.
That's right. I think let's now move on to the further part of the series. More two tests coming up, so it's going to be interesting. 1-1 is the scoreline right now, and where do you see it? Let's start off with the predictions. And starting off with Zoran, what do you think will be the series scoreline? Who do you think will Australia bounce back?
I think Australia will bounce back. The overall series, when I would say 2-1, I would think it is next game would be really, really strong, because I think, like you said, Australia always comes back very hard. This week probably will be a bit about just going away from the game a little bit, coming back, having some solid net practice sessions, and just showcasing character. I think having character and the resistance to not move. And I think Steve Smith particularly will want to be the leader of the Wolf pack coming back next test, because Australia know that if Steve Smith is successful, then that's the end of the opposition. At the end of the day, no matter who it is, if that guy gets 50, then Australia's winning the game, because he will make 15 to 100 and 150. So yeah, I think it's going to be a real strong comeback from Australia. Hoping David Warner also makes a comeback, and if David Warner is in form like he has been in the ODIs, then I think that'll be a good strong start, with the third test match. So I would expect, I think Australia will win the next one.
Okay, Ishwinder?
I do think Australia will bounce back hard, but it will be India's next test match as well. I think India will win the series 2-1 or 3-1.
All right, Ori?
I think first of all, keep praising Steve Smith. Keep calling him the best test batsman in the world. Keep doing all that, because he's working now. The guy has lost his touch, his work. Keep calling him that. Don't even dare tell him, you're not scoring runs and all of that. The Indian media should completely refrain from doing any of it. Firstly, that.
So finally, there's a strategy to get Steve Smith out.
Finally, there was
absolutely.
Aussie media praising King Kohli, all the way King Kohli, whole over Australia. It's only King Kohli. There are all 11 players playing for India, not only King Kohli.
And it showed in Kohli's poor performance this entire series,
Yeah,
no, it can't be poor. It can't be poor. He scored 85 in the last T20.
But it wasn't in a winning cause. It wasn't in a winning cause.
You can label it that.
I truly feel Kohli's mind has been on becoming a father for the last 3 months, and I think his cricket is not.
And understandably, it's his first child.
Yeah, and it's fine, and it's okay. He's a human being, and he's going to fail. And I wouldn't consider.
I'm glad he did this. I'm glad he did this. I mean, Indians and subcontinental people should understand there's life beyond, cricket and beyond your work.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I don't think the Australian tour was a success for him, but that's just my personal opinion. I think he didn't look like he wanted to. His mind wasn't in it.
But coming back to the test match, this I think David Warner is 30% of the Australian batting. I mean, seeing Australia bat without Warner at the top, they look like they could be skittled out for 100 any time. They don't look like scoring runs. It's shocking the way they're batting in their own backyard. So I think a lot of it will depend on if David Warner is coming back. If he's coming back, then India has a worry on their hands. I mean, I genuinely believe that. But if he's not, then I think, India with the momentum will be tough to beat now.
Right.
But if Warner comes back, then that's another matter altogether.
Lots of uncertainty that follows now, because even the Indian team the Australian Indian team do not know where are they playing next. The fans don't know that. So it will be
Melbourne. It's the same venue, Melbourne, I think.
So that's what they're saying today. But they're not confirmed.
They were talking about it. I think mostly it will be Melbourne. So I think in the next 24 hours, we'll find out.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Because the ground matters a lot. The pitch matters a lot in terms of what will.
Because the Indian team had a choice. They were asked if they want to stay back at Melbourne or travel to Sydney.
Yeah, they said
after this win. After this win, I don't think they'll be traveling to Sydney anymore.
Yeah. All right. So it's been terrific so far. Great.
And Melbourne is always lucky for India. Last year as well.
Yes. They won four test matches here with this.
Yeah.
I think luck is dependent on how you perform on the day, to be very honest.
Look, luck is extension of confidence. You were talking
Yeah.
about Australia dropping catches, right? Because they have
Yeah.
looked so underconfident.
No,
They've
yeah,
looked
absolutely.
half-cooked.
It was
You know, if they're
very
not confident,
uncharacteristic of them.
yeah,
Yeah.
they've looked like half-baked, all
Shocking. It was shocking. And I'm like, these are sitters in your hand. I don't know what you're doing,
Cricket Australia has to let the Aussies sledge. Otherwise, I don't think they'll get the
Yeah.
confidence back.
I think they have to collectively take a call amongst the group themselves and say,
Yeah.
Cricket Australia, just hang on a minute, take a seat. We're just doing our thing and we need to win the match right now. Thank you very much.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Let's see how this goes then, because it's going to be extremely interesting to see how the two teams fare for the rest of the test matches. Because right now it's all about how well you play on the day. Because as you know, 30 minutes, 1 hour can entirely change the phase of the match. So hopefully, more competitive cricket, more intense cricket, which we are used to generally from India and Australia. So great talking to you, fans. Thanks a lot for joining. Thanks a lot for that amazing discussion. And the Indian fans will be extremely happy. It's all worth it of waking up
Yeah,
at 5.
it was different quite a bit scenes outside MCG today. I was there with the World Cricket fans for the last 4 days, and Indian fans were full in joy. Like after especially that defeat from Adelaide, we have bounced back and showed how Australia to Australia how we can perform.
Yeah, I think entirely just not only the Indian fans, but the stadium really, the stands really missed the fans in general this year, because it's been a tough year overall. But great to see
Especially
the
for
fans.
Melbourne, we were in lockdown for like 10 months. Last 10 months, Melbourne was in lockdown.
Yeah. And the fact that this series was the return of the fans was amazing, because as even just players, you really miss fans cheering for you, because there's the energy decreases overall in the absence of fans. So thanks to Australia, thanks to all all the stadiums for bringing those fans back in the stands. And overall, thank you again, all you guys, for joining, and great session. So let's see how this goes. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you.